Hello, 1 2 1 2. Testing. Hello, hello, 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2. All right, sound is good. So I'm just inviting everybody to join me. We're going to start in about 3 to 4 minutes. How's everybody doing? Hey, Tina, how are you, man? Right. So let me just invite everybody. Cool. So I'm gonna make this session open. Yesterday I wasn't able to go live, but I'm here today, mate. Hey Lee, how are you, mate? You do not miss one of these. I like that. Alan, how are you? So Hale, how are you, sir? I am fine, thank you. Frederic. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh boy, I'm gonna look at U.S. oil, of course. Hold on. Let's see about that. Mm, yeah, I'm gonna look at U.S. oil. Well, you stay however long you want to stay. Hey, Vitautus. Christian Gutierrez. Hi, Nick. How are you? Jacob, how are you? Sanel, how is everything? Well, I'm fine, thank you, Lee. And I never preach that I am the best, but I'm pretty confident in what I do. Simo, how are you? Hi. Yes, Rashid, we can go through that. Ankit, how are you? Well, I don't give personal information. Simo, you're new. Well, welcome, mate. Tim, how are you, mate? Tino. Well, you're not using good risk management, Tino. Hi, Williams. Trinidad in the house. Riverside, California in the house. Hi, Sanel. I'm fine, thank you. Ganizani, hey. What's the trend for US dollar today? Where we're going to have a look at that. Quentin, how are you? Aaron. Hey, Omar. Thank you. I'm well. Thank you. Yeah. So let's give everybody a couple of minutes or 1 minute or so, and we will start this session, right? Amsterdam in the house. South Africa always in the house. Hey Zen Lee, how are you, mate? Yeah, Omar, let's get it. When the opportunity presents itself, right? So we're going to start by looking at this great. Hold on, let me change accounts. All right, this is it. So with the VIP group, we have this long on the US dollar, Canadian dollar riding. Is the US dollar Swiss franc valid? I don't know what you are referring to. Hey, Abby. Thank you for the kind words, mate. So Australia in the house. All right. South Africa in the house. Cool. So we have this one running, right? It's this was one. This was the best setup that we found this month. So Netherlands in the house too. Kamau, Donnie, how are you, mates? I'm gonna show you this US dollar, Canadian dollar. Please do not chase this trade because if you are not on the VIP group, or did I send this on the free channel too? Let me check that. No, I did not. So don't try to chase that long on the US dollar, Canadian dollar, because we do have some US data coming up, inflation data, and if you try to chase this trade, right now it's running profits for about 20 pips or so, but if you try to chase it, you are not, and if you're not a VIP, you're not going to get the trade management, right? So before we start, if you're not subscribed to this channel, right, to the YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe because we do upload a ton of stuff every day. All right, cool. So this US dollar, Canadian dollar is on fire. All right. Cool. So why don't we start by looking at the US dollar? Everybody's asking about the US dollar. So why don't we do just that? So the US dollar kinda non-directional to me, right? Let's start by looking at the daily chart. There is a massive key level at the top of this bullish move, let's call it between the 92.71. This is the DXY, right? Nigeria in the house. 92.75. Let's call it 92.70 to 92.70 to 93.10, right? So this entire zone right here, it's a heavy key level, right, for the USD. So I personally remain fundamentally bearish on the US dollar, right? Even though we're having a lot of buying momentum since that FOMC week, that FOMC day, that when the Fed hinted 2 rate hikes before 2023 ends, right? But the thing about this, right? And let me explain to you my thought process, and tell me on the chat if it makes sense to you, because to some traders it doesn't make sense that I am fundamentally bearish on the US dollar. Tanzania in the house. I have made a mistake and went into GBP USD long. Should I stay there? Yeah, you should. If you are following our signals, you should definitely use our entry method. These GBP USD. All right, let me start by talking about this, right? This GBP USD long was a play on a bullish US dollar, but because we were trading below this level, our validation level was here, right? So the GBPUSD had to break the previous weekly highs in order for our long idea to be valid, right? If you enter at market because you were thinking that you were going to get a better risk to reward, you did make a mistake. I always tell you guys that, you know, the reason that we use stop orders is because we need price to validate our trade idea. And we are not going to be the first ones on the trade, but we are going to be the most secure ones, right? Because, I mean, just have a look at what you did on the hourly. Just have a look at what you did. You enter, I mean, we send a signal to put a buy stop above these highs, right? With stop losses below yesterday's lows, right? So what you did is that you enter at market long here because you were going to get a better risk to reward ratio, but the long trade idea was not valid yet. So yeah, you made a mistake. I cannot tell you what to do with that trade because I cannot give you financial advice, but I mean, yeah. What I can tell you is that if the GBPUSD breaks with yesterday's lows, we are going to see lower prices, right? So let's go ahead and let's go back to that DXY. So the reason that I am still fundamentally bearish, and like I told you before, please tell me on the chat if this makes sense to you, because I really like to understand and to know some other traders' points of view, right? I don't preach that I am the best trader at all. I don't preach that I know everything at all. What I do is that I just explain my thought process, right? So the reason that I'm still fundamentally bearish on the US dollar is because of this, right? This spike high or this bullish momentum that we are seeing on the USD is because on the last FOMC meeting, the Federal Reserve hinted 2 rate hikes before the end of 2023. Why? Because inflation is rising. The weapon that that central banks use to fight inflation is rising or hiking rates, right? And that is bullish for the currency. But the thing about this is that this bullish move is, to me, it's well, fundamentally insane in the sense that the Federal Reserve has not yet hiked rates. And on the other side, they said that they were keeping the pace of this round of quantitative easing. So they are keeping that money printing machine alive. They did not taper down their asset purchasing program at all. So inflation is already here, right? Inflation is already here. The Fed has not hiked rates at all, and they kept their asset purchasing program at the same pace. So, to me, this is hold on just a second. This is an irrational move. But again, you know, you have to trade what you think. That is the first lesson that new traders have to understand. Even though I am fundamentally bearish on the US dollar because pressure on the USD, I'm going to look for buys, right, on the US dollar. Do you expect deflation is coming in the next 1-2 years? I mean, I couldn't tell you that. Yeah, long term from an economic perspective, DXY is bearish and higher inflation is already evident today. Yeah, I mean, of course. Let's have a look at some analytics, right? Right, inflation. All right, by country. Let's look at the inflation by country. Let's go to the USA. Where is it? Well, I cannot find it. America. Hold on. Right here. US inflation rate. So have a look at this, right? Inflation is certainly rising in the USA. And you know, I mean, I have read articles that say that the real inflation is above 10%, and we are going to keep seeing inflation rising, right? Yeah, we're going to keep. I mean, we're going to see inflation rising because the Federal Reserve has not yet acted on it, right? So to me, this is an irrational move. But again, like I told you, you have to trade what you see, not what you think. And today, if we look at the 4-hour chart on the DXY, this is a clean breakout of the previous broken lows, and we're trading above the weekly pivot. This is certainly very bullish, right? So we're going to keep on with our USDCAD longs because they look very good. So levels on the DXY. The next level on DXY that I'm going to be looking for some reaction is going to be highs right here. This previous base, of course, right here around the 92.50 levels. So right now, if you look at this chart, now if you're new here, the points on my chart, on the 1-hour chart, this is the 1-hour chart, right? The points on my chart on the 1-hour chart are the previous day's highs and the previous day's lows. The points on the 4-hour chart are the previous week's highs and the previous week's lows. So if we go back to the 1-hour chart, the immediate structure in this market is bearish, right? Why? Because the DXY keeps printing new daily lows, new lower daily highs, and new lower daily lows, right? Yes, we have a base here, and if the DXY breaks with yesterday's highs, right? To me, we are still not outside of this immediate bearish structure because the immediate key level here is the 92.50, these highs and this previous base. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for a reaction, or for the reaction to this level. I really don't know. No one knows what's going to happen, right? We have inflation data coming up later today. And that's even though it does affect the market, right? That really is not going to change the structure of the market. So what we can, the two scenarios that I'm looking for is this, right? Both of them are a rally on the US dollar towards that 92.50, that magnet right here. It's pretty obvious that we are going to keep on rising. So, if we have bad inflation data on the US, that scenario is not going to play out. But, what I'm going to look for is this, right? Scenario number one, right? A retest of this level, and then a continuation on this immediate bearish structure. But if buyers jump in this market, and we have a clean break of this level, what I'm going to look for is price stabilizing around the 92.50 level, right, for opportunities to buy into some immediate weakness. So those are the two, hey Giovanni, those are the two scenarios that I'm looking at on the US dollar for today. Right now we are trading in the middle of nowhere. Of course, this is the middle of nowhere. Even though we are long the US dollar on the USDCAD, that is more of a CAD focus trade. Right, so Nathan says, mind looking at the US dollar South African rand? To be completely honest with you, I can and I will look at it, but I don't trade that market. Well, if you have been with me for a while, you know that half of my analysis is fundamental, right? And I just don't know anything about South Africa. If I were to trade the US dollar South African rand, it would be a US dollar based trade. And the same thing about the US dollar Mexican peso, or the US dollar Norwegian krona. And the reason that I like to look at those markets is because when I find a good setup, the risk to reward on those markets on a US dollar based trade is amazing. So I'll have a look at it, but I don't promise anything. So that's the DXY. So let's have a look at metals, right? I'm gonna talk about gold. I am still holding on to my gold buys right here. I'll show you. Yeah, I'll show you. So this is my gold trade, my gold buys, right? Hold on, let me just delete this right here, and let me change that to a daily time frame. So these are my gold buys, right? And I have been holding those gold buys. Why? You know what, Quentin? South Africa is one of the countries that I'm dying to go to. So why am I long gold? The reason that I'm long gold and I'm still holding this big ass position in gold is because this is a bet against inflation, right? Gold is a hedge against inflation. Inflation is already here, and we are going to keep seeing inflation rising, right? Now, having said that, and if you notice this big drop on gold was because of that FOMC meeting. Of course, I have stop losses. My stop losses are here. I mean, this gold trade, even though it's a big ass gold trade, it's basically at break even right now. Of course, I mean, if you don't trade with stop losses, you are dead. So this is my trading goal, right? I'm a swing trader, and I don't panic sell. I have seen this position go up to $15,000 and then down to minus 1,000. I don't panic sell. That thing is for rookies, But right now, and the reason why I moved my stop losses where they are at the moment is because of this. If you look at the daily chart in gold, this is a massive level that, and yesterday's daily candle was a very good candle for me. Why? Because it looks like, let me show you why it was a good candle for me. Yeah, it looks like we are in a bear trap. Why? Because yesterday's daily candle completely broke with this previous base right here. And then, boom, buyers jumped in, right? So bears got trapped in this what seems to be short setup, right? But this level is super heavy. If you look at the volume profile, GC is gold futures, right? Here there is massive volume being traded, and it's going to be very hard for bulls to break through that 1818 to 1820 level. because there are massive sell orders placed here, right? But still, my long idea is still valid. Now, if we look at the 4-hour chart, and this is, and this is the reason that we are not sending signals in gold at the moment, because we are trading inside of an awful range, right? And if you see the 4-hour candles, right, the wicks, they're very wicky, which means that it's extremely volatile, right? Yesterday there was a setup to buy gold, right? But we would have been taken out at a loss because of this big wick. So, having said that, when are we going to trade gold again? We are going to trade gold again once gold. There's two scenarios here, right? And no one knows what's going to happen, right? If anyone tells you that the price of any security is going to be at a given level, at a given time, they're lying to you, because this is an auction between buyers and sellers, and no one knows future auction, right? What you have to do is prepare for the possible scenarios. So and here there are two possible scenarios, right? A break above the high of the range, or a break below the low of the range, right? Whenever one of these two scenarios plays out, then is when we are going to start trading gold again, right? The one that I'm hoping for is a break above the top of the range, of course. Right, so weekend. So this level, right, the 1795 level, is massive too, high volume being traded, a lot of buy orders being placed here. Hey AJ, so it's going to be hard for sellers to break through the 1795, right? This is just a waiting game for the VIPs, right? And if you're not part of the VIP team, there's a link below this video. You should definitely join, because this is what we do. USDCAD long. Yeah, personally I have a couple of longs here. So if gold and we need to see a clean break, right? Now we are not going to play the momentum breakout. What is the momentum breakout, right? Normally what we do is we place stop orders above the highs for a buy, or stop orders below the lows for a sell, right? Here we're not going to do that. Why? Because this zone is a high volume area, and we have seen a couple of times momentum buyers getting trapped just to see price completely dump, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for a clean break and a retest of this level, price stabilizing around the 1815 to 1820, in order for us to get a great risk to reward ratio for a buy. Now, if this scenario doesn't play out and the price breaks with the lows, it's the same thing. We're going to wait for a clean break, because again, momentum traders have been trapped on the short side too. So if price dumps, we are going to wait for a clean breakout, a retest, price stabilizing around this level for us to have a great risk to reward ratio trade. That's gold, right? US oil. Well, US oil. On the daily, the daily doesn't say much, right? Let's have a look at the 4-hour chart. To be completely honest, I like the short side here. below the 7470 level, right? Below this key level right here, below this previous base, this previous retested level twice, 3 times, right? There is no setup right now, but if we look at the hourly, right? If we look at the hourly, yeah, let's look at the hourly. I personally have a short here, which is underwater, right? I got ticked in. Right here are the lows. My stops are above these highs. I'm still bearish here. Of course, I'm still bearish. This is a massive level. And below the 7470 level to 70, let's call it 75. Below the 75 level, I continue to be bearish in this market, right? You know, I don't have that fundamental data in crude oil at hand, but you know, I'm going to send that fundamental data to the VIPs. Right now we're seeing a surge in buying power, you know, in buying pressure. I'm sorry, buying power, in buying pressure here, and it's you know, there is a probability that you know, we are going to break those highs, but you know, just by looking at the structure in this market, right? The structure in this market after we made that high around the 77 level, you know, price completely dumped. And if if we look at percentages from the high to the low, we're talking about an 8% move to the downside. And the pullback here, we're talking from low to high about a 5.85%. So reckon it would be around the 61.8 or so. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's exactly the 61.8, you know, fast math. I mean, fast math will always help you trading. So, it is a very, very good, you know, short setup, even though we're looking at some buying pressure right now, you know, immediate buying pressure. But, you know, my idea, you know, below the 75 level, this is a good short setup, right? Someone told, what else can we look at? I mean, we have been live for half an hour, and we have looked only at a couple of markets. That is not possible. Right, so let's have a look at some other markets. Copper. Sure. So copper, you know, on the daily with the swing trading group, we are in a buy position in copper. Right now, that position is underwater, but we are swing traders there, right? To me, this is extremely bullish. Extremely bullish, right? Just have a look at this market. This is extremely bullish, right? And what we did here is that we deep bought this the retest. The retest of the previous broken highs, right? Our stops are just below those lows, so right now we are keeping that long position, right? Why? Because of just have a look at this. The last time that copper pulled back, right? The last time that copper pulled back, it pulled back from high to low about 12%, right? And it rallied from low to high 26%. Now, this pullback is a little deeper, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah. It's about 16%, right? So we are keeping, if price doesn't break with these lows, the structure in this market is still alive, right? You know, if you are looking to trade this market, right, this is not a signal at all. You know, if you want to be part of the swing trading group, there's a link below this video, right? We don't trade a lot there. We hold position a lot. because we focus on monetizing from long-term trades, right? So, but if you're looking to to trade this market, you should wait for the break of this previous base. This is the massive level, and if of course price breaks with this level, we are going to have a big rally. Right now, this is an awful range. Do not get involved in this market if you are not involved from before. Right, Bitcoin. Hold on, let me have a look at my trades. All right, so let's see what we have here. Right, so Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin during the weekend, and I got stopped out of break even. That's sad, right? But I mean, it happens. What I did is that let me show you why I did it. Right. So above the 31,000 to 28,500 level. Above all of this, I am bullish. And if you notice on the daily, price it's consolidating, right? Price is consolidating inside of inside of what seems to be a triangle, right? What's cool about this is that whenever you see this kind of price action, in this case, right, we are seeing, right, price making lower highs and higher lows, right? So it's consolidating tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. So eventually it will break out, right? It will break out to the north or to the south. We don't know, right? But the reason that I bought Bitcoin on the weekend is because we're trading above that 32,000 level. That's a key level to me, right? So I looked at the hourly. Let me just delete this line. And I think that Bitcoin was trading around this level, so I put a buy stop here. And yeah, eventually I got stopped out of break even. That position was up about $1,400. But again, I don't panic sell. I do protect my trades, but I don't panic sell, right? I still have some buy stops here in Bitcoin. And right now, the market that I'm looking at is actually Ethereum. Why? Because, and let me show you why. This level right here that Ethereum is testing, right? These highs, and this previous base. Just have a look at the full range of buying power here, right? No, on the daily, it doesn't look like much, but let me show you. Yeah, so let's go to the 4-hour chart, right? On the 4-hour chart, let me just delete this. On the 4-hour chart, this is what I'm looking at, right? So this is the key level that I'm looking at, right? These previous highs right here, right? Where was the level that sellers were protecting, but again, that big buying power that I showed you previously made for a breakout, and now this is the level that buyers are protecting, or that buyers are placed in, right? I'm not giving you a signal to buy Ethereum at all. I am not. I'm just telling you what I'm looking at. On the hourly, right, we are retesting this previous low. And this is the reason that I'm focusing more on Ethereum than on Bitcoin. Why? Because when we hit that 2020 level right here, there was a big switch in momentum. And this means, and this is why I focus on key levels, right? There was a big switch in momentum. This means that here, sellers were in control of the market, and buyers were so strong that sellers could not swipe all the sell orders, and eventually buyers took control. So historic price action gives you clues, right? Here is where we are going to find some buyers. Now the tiny thing about this is this break below, right? That's why I have buy stops placed, and I have not bought at market. We should create a penny stock group. Nah, you know, no, fuck that. You know, if you want to be successful at trading, you need to focus on one fucking market. One. Just one. Just one. To me, that is the US dollar. I read about the US dollar. I can tell you where the US dollar has been. I know what to do, what to expect. When I sit down in front of my screens, I have everything planned out. I do not care about the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar. I don't care about the Swiss franc. I do not give one single fuck about anything else. Focus on one market. Learn to trade one market, Be excellent at trading one market, and you are not going to stop printing money. If you start trading, corn, then coffee, crude oil, the yen, the pound. Why would you do that? That's burning money because, I tell you guys this every single time that I'm live, that if you're trading Forex, and if you want to be a successful Forex trader, focus on one currency. Look at that currency, study that currency, read about that currency, understand the implications of that central bank in that economy, and then look for opportunities in currency pairs. Don't start by looking at currency pairs. Right, the Dow. Yeah, sure, we can do the Dow. Oh boy. Just hold on. I think I have to manage a trade. So, I'm very long the Dow. I'm still long the Dow. These are, I already shaved them off a lot. So these are my two equity trades. The Dow, I have been long for a while now. I bought here on June 6th, and I'm still long, I already took like 80% of this trade, and this is my Nasdaq long. I haven't taken anything on this one because this is a smaller buy. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish, on the Dow. So let's have a look at the Dow. All right, let's have a look at the Dow. Now, trading equities is just another animal, right? If you have learned that you have to be patient with the Forex, with equities you have to be 5 times as patient, and the reason is because these are great markets to make money, insane markets to make money. But if you focus on the perfect setups, if you start looking for setups to trade every single day, there's people that make money trading the Dow every single day, but that's not the game that I play. I play the long game. To me, that wouldn't work. But if you're looking to trade the Dow, why don't we look at some levels, right? Now, and I'm going to tell you the levels that I'm looking at myself, right? And the level that I'm looking at is this one right here, the 34, 870 or so. This previous highs, right? We had a breakout, right? We had a breakout today. That's cool for me because I'm long. You know, I'm hoping for some selling pressure, pre-market or at the open, for a retest of this level. If we retest this level, I will buy again to some weakness. But you know, the thing is that we are very close to all-time highs. This is all-time highs, right? Yeah, we are very close to all-time highs. When U.S. equities are in this scenario, you know, most of the times, I mean, we are going to see only buyers jumping and a breakout of all-time highs, right? So to me, there's no setup here, and I wouldn't trade a breakout of all-time highs ever, ever. Have you seen this? This is quite cool. I'm gonna show you. So the S&P 500 has rallied more than 100% from the pandemic lows. That is fucking crazy, right? Have you seen that? So it has rallied more than 100% since March 20, 2020 lows. That is insane. That is insane. Yeah, I mean, this is a bulls market, and you know, that's just the money printing machine. Um, Again, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, mate. You know, what you could be looking at is a possible retest of the 14,900 level or so on the Nasdaq. I mean, if the Nasdaq falls down to this level, the risk to reward on a long would be very good. You know, again, we're trading all-time highs, so I mean, that is up to you. You know, but again, yeah, these are very good markets, but I mean, you have to backtest your setups on these markets because, um, and the reason that you have to backtest your trades or your setups on these markets is because, and on all markets for that matter, is because if you trade two or three setups, let's say, right? They're not going to work the same in the US dollar. They're not going to work the same in, hold on. Apparently, we are triggered. US dollar, Japanese yen. Right. Okay, that's fine. I mean, if we're triggered, we're triggered. Cool. Um, yeah. Hold on, let me just see if, yeah, probably we will have to, but not right now. So, yeah, you have to backtest your setups, right? I was talking about that. So we have been live for 48 minutes. I mean, if what I'm talking about makes sense to you, you're more than welcome to join the VIP group. I mean, um, I send my stuff. Olympus sends his stuff every single day. Um, and if you have a small account, you should really consider joining because I don't know. I mean, the thought process of having a $500 account and being okay with losing $200, but not being okay with paying 35 pounds per month, it doesn't make sense to me. GBPUSD, sure, man. So the pound US dollar. I mean, I already did it, but I'll do it again. The pound US dollar to me is bullish. Um, and I know it's counterintuitive what I'm saying because we are seeing some negative trading today. I mean, the range is minus 27, minus 0.27%. But Above, this, I'm gonna show you, right? This is the no trading range right here. This is the no trading range, right? So, in the short term, I couldn't say if I'm bullish or bearish. I see nothing, right? But if price breaks with these highs, I am definitely buying the pound. If price breaks with these lows, well, it's immediate bullishness, but I'm not selling the pound, right? Why? Because the risk to reward ratio on this trade would be off, and the risk to reward ratio on a long would be amazing. So there you go, man. A piece of advice to you guys is always look for that no trading range in your charts, right? Always look for those validation and invalidation levels that will give you those no trading range, right? Don't be eager to jump into a trade because you're going to get an amazing risk to reward. Now, why would you do that? Why would a buy here? Just have a look. If I buy here, right, put my stops here, yeah, I will get a 1 to 8.3, 37% risk to reward ratio, but this is my no trade zone. Anything can happen here. Anything can happen. Until I see some buying pressure and a clean break of these highs, I'm not gonna get involved in this market. And that's just the way that I trade. You can do, whatever you want to do. But just a piece of advice from someone that started from zero and taught himself how to trade by losing a lot of money. Yeah, I wish I had this, when I was starting out. Gold is breaking out. That's a good thing for me. Oh, sugar, I love this. Yeah, so that's me, guys. Thank you for joining me. Where would you stand on GBPUSD as a swing trader, though? I wouldn't get, as a swing trader, I wouldn't get involved. Nah. Let's have a look at, no, at all, at all. Now, all right, I'll tell you. So this is the daily chart on the pound USD, right? As a swing trader, I wouldn't get involved at all here, right? Now, if price comes down to retest the 136.60 or so, or this previous heavy base here, and I see a clean rejection, right? And to see a clean rejection, you have to have patience, right? You have to look at a clean rejection on the daily. Yeah, this is where I would buy into some weakness on the GBPUSD. Yeah, that's. But to be completely honest, the true level that I would love to buy into is the 135, this one right here. And to be completely honest, I am waiting for this to happen. Even though we have sent a buy stop on the GBPUSD, that is completely another trading system, right? That is a very short-term trading system, right? Price could eventually break these highs, retest the 140.20, which I think it would do because right here there are no sellers, right? Here is where sellers are placed, and the strong sellers that could manage to bring price to break these lows and retest the 135. That's one of the reasons that we have that buy stop there. But again, if the scenario long term that I'm talking about plays out, here is where I will put some big buys, a big bet on the GBPUSD. Right? And if you have never swing traded, stops are very wide. Stops should be all the way below the 130 130.90 or so. Yeah. I mean, stops are going to be very wide. You're never going to get into a swing trade with a 10 pip stop loss. I mean, you might do it, if you're lucky enough, or if you're lucky enough to get into a day trade buy with a very tight stop loss, and just write it out. But yeah, but that's my thought on the GBPUSD. And if you notice right now, we are rejecting yesterday's lows. Um, this is pretty bullish, but we have to wait for the break of that range. Right. So thank you for joining me, guys. I always have fun in this in these live sessions. I hope you guys have fun too. I really recommend, if you're not part of the VIP group, I really recommend you join. Just test it out. Just test it out. Don't be okay with losing $200 of your $500 account and not paying 35 pounds per month for some amazing content. Thank you, Aline. Yeah, you are more than welcome, Andy. Right? And for all of you that are part of the VIP group, well, let's keep on rocking this. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the inside. Thank you.